It's safe to say at this point in the season that the Chicago Blackhawks will have another top pick in this upcoming draft. However, Macklin Celebrini might not be the easiest guy to get, being the unanimous first overall pick. A recent article from Ben Popus came out and said that there are many options the Blackhawks are considering. May they not get the first overall pick, and that's what we're talking about in this video. If Macklin Celebrini is really the right guy to take, even if maybe the Blackhawks do have the first overall pick. Now, before I get into all of this, as well as the article from Ben Pope, we've seen that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you want to join us on this road to Macklin Celebrini, and maybe see the Blackhawks might not take him, join this channel, hit the sub button. It really does mean a lot to us. The sport's been amazing lately, and the Blackhawks, you know, they're coming back from injury, so it's a good time to hop along and watch the Blackhawks start to get back to normal. But like I said, we're going to be getting into all of this here now with the article from Ben Pope. Here's the headline. So with the Blackhawks likely to get another top pick in the 2024 NHL draft, who might they select? Then it says the Hawks would be ecstatic to get the number one overall pick again and take Macklin Celebrini. However, the odds of that are low, though meaning plenty of other prospects are also being considered. Now, in this article, some more names that I have highlighted here are really the ones that are being optioned. I'm not going to read all of this, but Cole Eiserman, he's kind of the number 2 unanimous. This is what we heard, what we've seen. Now, although we've seen many things change in the past in the NHL draft, nothing is guaranteed. There's also names like Ivan Demidov, Konsta Helenius, one of those Konsta Helenius we've seen in the World Juniors this year with Finland, Cayden Lindstrom, and Berkeley Cayden. So I'm going to go over the few that I do believe are options for the Blackhawks, people that, you know, I think would suit more than others. Now we're going to start this one off here, obviously, with the number 2 overall selection, I guess you could say. It's Cole Eiserman. Now, he's been the number 2 for pretty much as long as we've known what this draft class is, who's been in it, and whatnot. It was between him and Macklin Celebrini. However, Macklin Celebrini at the World Juniors really did show that he is going to be the number 1 overall pick. And, you know, Macklin Celebrini, once again, he's very similar to a Connor Bedard style player. Got that high talented goal scoring as well as the puck movement. You can see with the National Development Program, he's on pace for 70 points in 44 games. He currently has 16 in 10 and is committed to play with the Boston University. However, one thing with Cole Eiserman is he struggled with being, you know, a bit of a puck hog, I guess you can say. I wouldn't call him a full-on puck hog, but he prefers the shot himself over trying to make that extra pass. And I'll pull up the article here again, see what Ben Pope says on Cole Eiserman. Just as center in the U.S. National Development Team, has not generated most buzz as the possible number 2. He is a fantastic shooter and finisher, nearly rivaling Bedard in that regard, but he has struggled at times with inconsistency and puck hogging. Now, obviously, Cole Eiserman would be another great addition to this Blackhawks team, having another guy like Connor Bedard. Although, do you want another guy similar to Connor Bedard that, you know, is going to kind of take that role in being the first option to shoot, the first option to get the puck to and score, whether it be on the power play, in, you know, even strength lines on line 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatnot. There's players that you don't want to have too many of the same style. And I think that Connor Bedard style player with a very good shot is one. You know, you want players that are going to be able to move the puck, get the puck to guys like Connor Bedard, because you don't want to stack them all up on one line, and you don't want to make a too heavy shooting top line, and, you know, in sense not being able to pass the puck and move the puck as well as we've seen with some lines that have good puck movers, good play style, and then a shooter, you know, that make a perfect mix of players. So Cole Eiserman would be an option, obviously. However, I don't know the Blackhawks actually take him at number 2 if they do, per se, get the number 2 overall pick. One of the favorites I have in the draft here, which I'm going to talk about now, is Ivan Demidov. He's a Russian player currently playing in the MHL, I believe, and I will pull up his stats once again here as well, like I did with Cole Eiserman. A lot of time to play, you know, he plays in the KHL, the VHL, and the MHL, all Russian leagues. However, the MHL is the league he's been very consistent in this year, and you can see 24 points in 16 games, 11 goals, 13 assists. Now, Ivan Demidov is one that a lot of people have been on. He's been very consistent over his years, you know, playing junior and the younger Russian leagues, and I think that he's one player that is very well-rounded, and he's going to be wanted by a lot of players. The only thing about Ivan Demidov that's in question, I would say, is that the fact that he's playing over in Russia, and we've seen in recent years that we don't really know what's going to happen with these players when they do come out of the draft. One example that came from this year was Matvei Michkov. He dropped a lot of places. He went down to the Philadelphia Flyers, but he was projected to go at 2, 3, and 4 in those spots beforehand, before everything came out about if he's going to come over or not, when he's going to come over or not, and it's a whole lot of struggle to take a player like this with the uncertainty around them. As much as you want to take them, as much as I think Matvei Michkov could have gone with in a top 3 pick, it's just a lot of unknown that you really. It's the uncertainty that you're kind of fearing, and that's the worst part about, these kind of players. So he is a very good option. I would say that, but, having an early pick, just say if it was at 2 or 3, there's a lot of risk behind it. And I know the Blackhawks had the time to, let these players take their time over in the KHL, the MHL, the VHL, whatnot, and make their way over here eventually. It's a major risk. We've seen it work out with guys like Kirill Kaprizov, who only came over a few years ago, and we've seen it work out with other players, and then we've also seen some not even come over at all and, have it not work out. So it's something that I think the Blackhawks would need to consider about right now. They need to start thinking about what they're going to be doing if they do take a guy like Ivan Demidov. Now, there are more players in this draft, and one I'm going to talk about here briefly, but no stats. It's just Konsta Helenius. I don't have a screenshot for his stats. I do have them over here on my second screen. We've seen him play in the World Juniors with Finland, and he didn't really, he didn't play the way we wanted to see him. Obviously, he was a top talent in this draft. I've seen him go anywhere from, number 4 to 10. I'd say he's going to be in the middle of that range. I believe he's 5'10", Finnish guy. He's a very well-rounded player playing in the Liga this year, and he's putting up some good numbers. He's putting up 37 points in 51 games as projection, and 13 points so far in 20 points in 28 games, this year in the Liga. So he's putting up pretty consistent numbers in a men's league for being his age, being, one of the shorter guys over in that league, and, he's another guy that I think you can take the risk on. He's not going to have any risk of not coming over. He'll be over, pretty much right out of the draft, whether they put him in the AHL, NHL, and where he plays, depending on. But Konsta Helenius is one that I think has a very sneaky good shot. It's another one that is talented at everything. Can move the puck good. He's very quick on his feet, and he's good at getting out of sticky situations, which is always good. But you don't want to be in those sticky situations, against the boards and everything, and those situations. But he's one that I wouldn't take too high. But if you have that 5, 6, 7 pick, I'm absolutely all for it. Konsta Helenius is I think a sneaky good pick in this draft if he does end up dropping, which I can see, with some teams looking at his World Juniors and saying that maybe he don't compete well against some of the top competition around his age, let alone some older talent in the NHL. Maybe him dropping would be a sneaky pick up for the Blackhawks or any other team interested. Now, I do have one final one here that I do want to take a look at, which is Cayden Lindstrom. This, he's really, I would say, my sneaky pick of the draft. I said that, Konsta Helenius is one of them, but Cayden Lindstrom, excuse me for that green screen. Cayden Lindstrom is one of them that I do think that is a very good pick. A lot of people have him quite low on the draft board, and if you can get him at a lower pick, I think is an absolutely fantastic pick. Now, you can see, playing with the Medicine Hat Tigers this year, 46 points in 32 games, on pace for 87 and 51. He's a good goal scorer. You can see by this year, 27 goals, 19 assists. Last year, 19 goals, 23 assists. Shows he's good on both ends of the puck, and he's also 6'4". Something the Blackhawks don't really have on the offensive side of the puck is size. I think if they can get this guy, Cayden Lindstrom, it's a very, very big opportunity. You can't be bad with size up front. That's something that is always good on every team, whether you have it or not. It's something that can't go wrong. Get him in front of the net, go to the puck. We've seen it in this year with the LA Kings. Quentin Byfield struggled a bit the few years, but he's really, really good this year. He's shown that he is the guy that people thought he was going to be coming out of the draft, and he's been playing well this year, and that's what you kind of hope in a guy like Cayden Lindstrom, where he's a very tall, not too heavy forward, good shot, can move the puck well, and just a big body. It's always something that's good on a team like the Blackhawks, where they have some younger, quick talent, but they also need some guys that are a bit on the bigger side on the offense. But, obviously, Macklin Celebrini, I think, is the guy that the Blackhawks want. I think anybody who gets the first overall pick is unanimously going to take Macklin Celebrini if they don't trade the pick. But there are a lot of, possibilities of guys going up to number 2 and taking Cole Eiserman's place. I don't really think after that there's anybody set I think we have, the basic structure of who might go, like Cole Eiserman, but after that, it's really whoever's game. We've seen it this year as well with Leo Carlsson and Adam Fantilli. We thought Adam Fantilli was going number 2 the whole way until draft day. He was taken number 3. So I think anything can happen, but obviously the Blackhawks want the highest pick they can get. It's safe to say that will happen. The Blackhawks are getting some players back tonight, though. So hopefully, the injuries are going to start to just take a steep decline until we have none. And that will be absolutely perfect. But the draft is quickly approaching. It really is. And it's time to start thinking about who the Blackhawks are going to want, what they need, who's interested in the Blackhawks. We don't want a situation like Cutter Gauthier that just happened yesterday with him and the Flyers. So going to be a lot of interesting topics coming out over the next few weeks and months about this draft and some trades. And, maybe the Blackhawks acquire another first-round pick. They got a lot of picks over these few years, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the Blackhawks do over the next few months and stuff with everything they have, all the ideas they want to do. But if you want to see it, make sure to sub to the channel. We'll be going over all of the Blackhawks content, games, post-games, prospects, the draft, trade deadline, all of it. So if you want to see all that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That's all I got, though. I'm signing out. Hope you have a great day. See you later.